I'm gonna say this: they better get to the NBA Finals. Whether it's Detroit or Cleveland, they better get to the NBA Finals.
Welcome to In My Defense, where we chop it up about sports, culture, life, the way it was meant to be discussed. Bold takes, thoughtful analysis, and real talk. In here, nothing's personal, but in my defense. And if you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. The last 2 weeks I've been, having a little bit of a substitute, but we got a gift back for you guys, and nothing's better than a present than the presence. The presence of my guy CC. CC, welcome back, brother.
Konnichiwa, my brother. Arigato gozaimasu. I'm just saying thank you very much for holding it down last couple of weeks with Fi. It's been awesome shows. But it's good to be back. I was halfway around the world. Actually, no, I was on the other side of the world. And it was a great trip. It was exhausting. And my wife was sure to make the delineation between vacations and trips. Vacations are where you get rest. Trips are where you go to have experiences and make memories. And certainly when you take a 4-month-old with you halfway around the world, 13-hour time difference, that's going to be a trip more than it's a vacation. I'm going to tell you this: whoever said that it was easy to travel with small children and infants, you lie. And the truth is not in you. Y'all some lying motherfuckers. Y'all need to cut it out. It is not easy traveling with a newborn or an infant. It's not. There might be cool on the plane. Odile was straight. But once we got there and he didn't know whether day was night or night is day, that was a problem because mama and I wasn't getting no sleep. And I remember when we got back, my wife said the truest words that I ever heard. She told me that we were either really, really brave or we were really, really stupid. And I think that we were a combination of the two to take an infant to Japan, 4 months old. But you know what? The beautiful part about it is we have zero fear factor now when it comes to traveling with our son. And to me, that's also a part of the win of taking a trip like that.
Yeah, I mean, I would have told you a long time ago. When you take the kids with you, that's a family trip. You see how what's that trip?
It's a
I call that a
trip.
family
It's a
trip.
trip.
It's a family
Not a
trip because
vacation. It's a
no, it's a
trip.
trip because you
Yeah.
still got to wake up, do breakfast. You still got to wake up and do the hustle and muscle of being a dad, being a mom. You don't get the opportunity to just say, "I'm gonna sleep in until my body wake up." No,
Nah.
no, no. They wake up
Nah.
for you, brother. They
Nah.
wake up for you. But
Yeah.
I'm happy to have you back. Listen, I don't know what the weather is like in Tokyo right now, so you ain't got too much of a tan, so it ain't too sunny. But tell me something fun you might have did out there that maybe the viewers need to hear about.
Oh man, Tokyo was so dope. It's so clean. Everybody is so respectful of one another. I was out there eating wagyu steaks and Kobe beef and having sushi, sashimi. It was amazing, man. The omasaki meals, the teppanyaki meals. It was unbelievable. Tokyo was amazing. Kyoto stole our hearts. It's what you think about when you envision Japan. It's the Buddhist temples, it's the Shinto shrines on the top of mountains, Mountaineer. It was amazing climbing the mountain and having all of the Shinto shrines, all of the gates. It was unbelievable, man. Yeah, I just Kyoto is 10 out of 10, no notes, man. It's unbelievable. If you haven't been there, it's a place that you should definitely see before the curtains go down. It is an incredible place.
Nah, Canty, that's one of my bucket list places. That Africa, I gotta go there. Maybe one time we get to go there together. We you
Yeah,
making chicken, I'm making a little chicken. We gonna get
yeah,
there. We get there
yeah.
together.
There
Make
you
it a six
go.
piece.
We take
Make
we
it a
take we take the shikase and the bullet train. Yeah, there you go.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And we keep the kids home. We need a vacation. We
Yeah,
what
yeah. Well,
what what did
that's
Jeezy say?
we go
We
we
need
go
a
for a vacation.
vacation.
We need a vacation.
Vacation.
Yeah, yeah.
But listen, we had you going for a while, so we ain't gonna, make the viewers wait too long. We gonna jump straight into it. And there
Okay.
was a big game last night. We're recording on Thursday, May 14th. The big game last night was not only that the Cavaliers came back and they won game 5, a road win last night. Now the series is, a little bit of a 3-2 series. We looking forward to see what that turns out. But I think the biggest thing that we noticed was that James Harden had a flashback.
Yeah.
James Harden had a little bit of a flashback, 30 points. Donovan Mitchell, I don't know where the hell you was the whole game. You was wet in the bed, but I guess your mom must have changed the sheets come overtime because he showed up at the end. And then we seen Detroit collapse, even though Cade Cunningham had 39 points. His supporting cast, didn't show up per usual. We know that Robinson was hurt. He was out, but we had a good replacement coming in, giving you 19 points. Duran, I think you are hustling the game. We need to find out if you hang out with Damon Jones because you're killing you killing tickets, brother. You killing tickets. But Canty, that was a big, big game going into overtime. What do you think of last night's matchup, and where do you think the series is going to go?
Oh man, it's a huge game, and the Cavs got their first road win, not just of the series, but of the entire playoffs. It was a moment where the game was within striking distance, and they took advantage of the opportunity. Shame on the Detroit Pistons for not being able to hold serve. You had a 15-point lead in the second quarter, a 9-point lead with 3 minutes to go in the fourth quarter, and you couldn't close the show. You let the Cleveland Cavaliers claw back in and have a 9-0 run to close the game. And here's the other thing, the Cavs could have won the game in regulation. They had the final possession. And I don't want to hear about that crap about Jared Allen tripping Asor Thompson. Asor Thompson wasn't going to make the free throws anyway if they put him on the line. He's 57% free throw shooter. So that don't even matter. Like, they blew the game. And it's got to be incredibly frustrating for JB Bickerstaff and his coaching staff to give away those types of opportunities where you are firmly in control for the majority of the minutes in regulation. So, yeah, credit to the Cavs. I thought the unsung heroes were the role players. Udonis Haslam from the Miami Heat, he talks about it all the time, how your superstars in a best-of-7 series got to get you 2 wins. Your coach got to get you a win. Your role players got to get you a win. Well, game 5 in this series, the role players for the Cavs got the win. Max Strus and Evan Mobley combined for 39 points. Dean Wade was a beast on the glass and on the defensive end. Sam Merrill knocked down some big shots. So all of those guys deserve a ton of credit, but specifically Max Strus knocking down 6 threes, making the steal in overtime, being able to get Donovan Mitchell that layup. Donovan Mitchell, 3 straight scores on those possessions in overtime, a 7-2 run in the Cavs' favor. To me, that was the pivot point in terms of deciding the outcome of the game. So credit to the role players for the Cleveland Cavaliers because I thought they were the biggest difference in last night's game.
I love what you said because I heard that Udonis Haslam quote talking about just the different phases of how each person plays a role in winning you a game and that eventually wins the series.
No
So
doubt.
the others eventually got to show up. We know that. But for me, the story of the game was James Harden. He took so much criticism in the last several games about not showing up, not being aggressive, showing signs of James Harden in Houston, showing signs of James Harden in Philly. When the playoffs come, James Harden simply shrinks a little bit more. He goes from 6'6", 6'5" to being my height, Canty. He gets a little bit smaller. But him to have a throwback game and to bring them back, and then again, like I said, Donovan Mitchell coming up big in the overtime. It was a ugly, sloppy victory, but yet the same of victory. Now, walking away from this game, do you think the Detroit Pistons are coming in saying, "Hey, I just need to tweak some things here, do some things here," or do you think this series is over?
Oh, this series is a wrap, man. Detroit ain't got no offense. Outside of Cade Cunningham, there's nobody that can do nothing. Dennis Jenkins, I mean, sure. I mean, that's great. But if he's your second biggest star, second most reliable option on the offense, man, you're going to have some problems. Jalen Duran is an all-star, and he's been a ghost in the entirety of the playoffs. This dude has averaged 10 less points per game in the postseason. Over the last 3 games, he's got a grand total of 11 rebounds and 1 block shot. How the hell you only got 11 rebounds and 1 block shot and you 6'10"? Bruh, when Paul Reed is the most reliable big for Detroit, that leads to nowhere. So yeah, it's an embarrassment, man. I just don't think that the Pistons have enough. And we thought that there could be some growing pains. We saw they struggled a little bit in the 1-8 matchup in the first round against Orlando. It's even more glaring in what happened last night on their home court. Cade Cunningham is great for the majority of the game, but when it matters most in clutch time and overtime, the Cavs trapped him, they blitzed him, got the ball out of his hands, and the others couldn't make any shots. They couldn't create. And so I think That's the biggest difference in this series. Cleveland just has more guys that can score the basketball. I mean, Evan Mobley at the end of regulation, he gave you 5 big points, a big 3-point shot, and then 2 made free throws. You know, those types of things matter when you have guys that can be shot makers, and then you have other guys that can be shot creators. They don't have that in Detroit, and it's unfortunate because I think it's going to undermine what has been a really, really good season.
I hear that. I hear that. And we know what's waiting for potentially the Cavaliers. Now, unless some miracle happens with the Pistons tomorrow, we know what potentially is waiting for the Cavaliers, and that's the New York Knicks. And
Ooh.
New York Knicks fans, I know y'all hate me right now. But I got something for y'all at the end of the show because y'all crazy. Y'all worse than Cowboy fans. I tell you that.
Uh-oh.
But
Wow. You going after Knicks
worse than
fans.
yeah, they're worse than Cowboy fans. I turned into the villain on the show. I know the arrows you get now, Canty. I've been feeling them a little
You've
bit,
been feeling them a
but
little bit?
I've been feeling them a little bit, but it's all right. They can shoot, but they ain't Robin Hood. They ain't aiming straight to the bullseye. They ain't working that way.
All right, I
But
got
the
you.
but the Knicks did play the Cavaliers 3 times this year. The Knicks won 2 out of the 3 matchups. The last matchup, the Cavaliers did secure a 109-94 win in February back in the day. Now we know styles make fights. We see that Cat has now changed how he is in the offense for the Knicks. They're now running through him a little bit more, giving him the ball, letting him make plays. Brunson isn't playing hero ball. You got McDice coming off the bench doing his
McBride?
ball
Yeah,
a
Deuce.
day.
Yeah.
McBride, excuse me, Deuce McBride. You got him coming off the bench doing what he needs to do. You even have Larry Sherman coming off the bench doing what he needs to do. What do you think is going to happen in this matchup? They've been fighting for a good 6 games at this point in time. What do you think the Knicks are going to do?
If they match up against the Cavs,
Yes, sir.
they're
Yes,
going to beat
sir.
their ass. I mean, BTA, belt to ass. The Knicks have been historically good. The Oklahoma City Thunder have been running through the playoffs the last couple of years. This postseason, OKC is beating opponents by 18.3 points per game. The Knicks are beating opponents 19.4 points per game. They're plus 194 in the postseason. That is insane. They are shooting the lights out of the basketball. And shout out to Mike Brown because he got this team and Carl Anthony Towns specifically to do what Tom Thibodeau could not. Play some damn defense. They are so much better on the defensive end. And guess what? They're going to even be that much better when they get OG Anunoby back from that hamstring. So I'm going to say this, man. The Knicks are going to the NBA Finals, barring anything unforeseen in the way of injury. And now it's just a matter of whether or not they're going to have a date with the Oklahoma City Thunder or whether it's going to be somebody else coming out of the Western Conference. But the Knicks will be in the NBA Finals. And that's got to be a good feeling for Leon Rose because he made the unpopular move in firing Tom Thibodeau after a conference finals appearance. And now we're talking about the New York Knicks being in back-to-back conference finals for the first time since the early 2000s. I mean, the first time since Juvenile was taking over for the 99 2000s. That's the last time the Knicks have been in back to back conference finals. So, yeah, I think that it's been a mission accomplished in terms of getting back to the championship rounds and playing the brand of basketball that gives you a chance to hold up the Larry O'Brien trophy.
Listen, this might be the year. Knicks fans, I think you will go to the finals. Just putting that out there because I said they will lose 1 game, and they act like I said that the whole team's going to blow up after the series or something like that. I don't know.
I'm gonna say this: they better get to the NBA Finals,
Yeah.
whether it's Detroit or Cleveland. They better get to the NBA Finals. They have to. Like
Hmm.
this New York Knicks team has no excuse as to why they shouldn't get to the NBA Finals because they're in a situation now that if they're gonna face the team that's up in the other series in the East, they would have home court advantage in that Eastern Conference Finals. So they'd have to take advantage of the situation. The Knicks don't have any excuse. It is NBA Finals or bust.
I agree 100%, 1,000%. Before we go switch it to the West Coast, you just got off a plane And there's some people getting on the plane. I don't know if they're going to Cancun. I don't know if they're going to France. I don't know where any of these guys is going to hang out this summer. But just thinking back on that playoff series between the Knicks and the 76ers, how do you walk away from that series? Joel Embiid talking about this is still a moral victory. You know, nobody thought we were going to be here. How do you walk away from that series, and what do you think about the 76ers and what the future is? Because the process is done, and right now the discussion is, where do we go from here?
Well, they fired Darryl Morey, the general manager that put this team together, man. And listen, he is responsible for two of the worst contracts in the NBA. Joel Embiid, over the next 3 years, is owed $167 million from the Sixers.
Ooh, that's
Paul
money.
George, over the next 2 seasons, is owed $110 million for the Sixers. Nobody is taking those contracts. So they
Mm-mm.
are stuck in a situation where there's two timelines. You got two old guys that are overpaid. Embiid is 32, Paul George is 35, and you got two young superstars in Tyrese Maxey, who's 25, and VJ Escom, who's 20, who you should be building around. But it can't truly be their team, those guys in the backcourt, until you
Mm-hmm.
move on from the old guys. And so I think that's what the Harris group looked at when evaluating Daryl Morey's job performance, and they decided to move on. Daryl Morey might be the most excuse me, let me say this again. Daryl Morey might be the most overrated non-player in all of sports because this guy gets so much credit for being a genius in the analytics. He's been a GM for 19 years, and he's had two conference finals appearances, hadn't been to the NBA finals.
Mm-hmm.
So, like all of this stuff about how smart Daryl Morey is in putting the team together, Daryl Morey has accomplished nothing of note. So I think it was the right decision to move off of Daryl Morey. Now it becomes a question of who's going to shepherd the franchise into the future and who's going to help you find the off ramp for Joel Embiid and Paul George. Maybe not this summer, but at some point in the foreseeable future, because the Sixers can't truly ascend with Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe until you take care of the business of officially moving on from the process.
Mm-hmm. And Paul George showed up in a game or two, and I was like, okay, maybe we're about to see
Man,
PG
get
pop
Paul
out.
George ass out of there, man.
Yeah, he
Get his
is.
ass out of there, man.
Listen, a lot of people are hanging out with Terry Rozier and Damon Jones right now.
Oh
I'm
my
just putting
God.
it out there. A lot of people, a lot of people. But there's been a lot more games going on, and Canty, we're excited to have you here. One of the biggest games, and I know this player, you talk so highly about them at the start of the year. I know me and you talked about this when I was away in St. Lucia when I told you about Wimby maybe messing around and them Spurs having one of them seasons, and we
Yeah.
agreed on that back then. We can see the Spurs potentially getting to a Western Conference Finals versus OKC. They're up 3-2. They just won the last game versus the Timberwolves. Wemby giving you 27 points, 17 rebounds, 3 blocks. We know that Anthony Edwards, he's still on the men's, but he's still balling out, doing what he needs to do. Gave you 20 points in game 5 and led all of Minnesota. Now, the supporting cast, it has the Spurs going crazy. We know that game 6 is tonight. This may be the night that the long arm alien brings out a baby broom because he can still sweep while he's standing up. What do you think is going to happen when they get those people out the building and clean house and be like, now we off to OKC? Is this
Oh
happening
man.
tonight? Is this
Yeah,
happening tonight?
yeah. So I mean, listen, game 6, Friday night. I absolutely think that the San Antonio Spurs are gonna take care of business. And maybe the worst thing to happen to the entire playoff field was Victor Wembanyama being ejected in the second quarter of game 4. Because when he came out in game 5, he was on one. He was locked in, he was super focused, and there was just nothing Minnesota could do. I mean, the guy had 16 points in the first 6.5 minutes. Wemby is the most unstoppable force in the sport. And the only person that can slow him down is Victor Wembanyama. And as long as he doesn't get frustrated by opponents playing overly physical, taking shots, not necessarily fouls, but just pushing them, tapping them, constantly buzzing around them, as long as he doesn't get frustrated by that, as long as he plays with force, then the San Antonio Spurs are are a team that could absolutely end up in the NBA Finals. That's how good Victor Wembanyama is. Here's the other person that I want to give some love to, Dylan Harper, rookie, rookie, Ron Harper's son, coming off the bench for San Antonio, has not looked like a rookie this postseason. This dude plays point guard like a power forward. And him coming in with that second unit, giving them a spark, him, KJ, Keldon Johnson, those guys, Luke Cornett, those guys off the bench, they are giving valuable minutes to Mitch Johnson, and those guys have been playing great. And that's the thing that I love about San Antonio. These guys play with a ruggedness, with a toughness that is beyond their years. And so Victor sets the tone. There's no question about that. But there is a underlying grit and mental toughness with this team that I think flies under the radar and a lot of people don't acknowledge. And I think that's what Minnesota has been struggling with, and that's what could give other teams problems as we go to the later rounds.
Yeah, and I thank you for the alley. Both games are tomorrow night, Friday, tomorrow night, both game sixes. Um, I don't know how much of this is a war of attrition when it comes to the Wolves. If you had DiFrancesco, you know, if Edwards was 100% healthy, do you think the series would have been a little bit different if you had all the pieces, you had everybody healthy, and then also let's not front, the NBA didn't give Wimbiana Wimby the Draymond treatment.
Yeah.
That elbow should got him a game. It should have got him a
Nah,
game.
come on, man. Listen, the incident happened early in the second quarter. He missed enough of the game to make a material difference. I think the NBA got it right where they kicked him out, flagrant two, but you make sure that he's on the court for game five. I don't want a play like that to change the outcome of the series. It's already changed the outcome of a game. I don't need it affecting two. So I thought the NBA got it right. And you got to factor in the history of it too. Wemby has never been ejected before,
Mhm.
not regular season, not postseason. So I think the NBA got it right when it comes to that. Um, I will say this: um, Minnesota is a good team, but Minnesota is not on the same level as OKC or San Antonio. They're just not. And so even with all of the other players healthy, I don't know that it would have made a difference in terms of the outcome. Maybe the series goes a game later, but I don't think it changes who's advancing to the conference finals. I think Wemby is just that good. And guess what? Ant-Man said as much post game five. He said, yeah, with Wemby, there just aren't a whole lot of good answers in terms of how to defend him, in terms of how to stop him. If Rudy Gobert, who's known Victor Wembanyama pretty much all his
Mhm.
life,
Since he was a young
his
jit.
countrymen, if he can't find a way to stop him, a four-time defensive player of the year can't find a way to slow him down, then guess what? You can't stop him. And
Mhm.
that's the reality of it. So, like, I just think that Minnesota's game plan in terms of frustrating Wemby was the right one. It got him out of game four. Unfortunately, I think it's going to make Wemby focus more to make sure he acknowledges the importance of staying composed, and that's going to spell trouble for not only Minnesota the rest of the way, but whoever the San Antonio Spurs face the rest of the playoffs.
I can see that happen. I can see that happen. I do think that Wimby ain't get suspended because they seen how Draymond and how it affected that series with LeBron. A
Mm,
lot of people felt like they would have been out of here and Draymond being gone. And most likely, if you remember that series, Draymond was having a series where he could have been the MVP
yeah,
of that finals.
yeah,
So I think that's why they didn't suspend him. They didn't want to have one of those moments where that decided the series.
yeah,
I I think they gave him the Jalen Carter, special. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
You know,
There's a lot of similarities there. There you go.
he already out the game. But really quickly, let's touch on one thing before we get to 99 problems because we want to make sure we get to that. Potentially the Western Conference final matchup. The San Antonio Spurs, young San Antonio Spurs versus the young Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah,
Uh who do you have? We got Wimby versus Chet. Two unicorns that when they came into the league, people both were saying the same thing about Chet that they saying about Wimby right now, back in the day. We got the MVP, most likely to, back to back. I told you he was going to be back to back MVP in the game. And you don't have J Dub playing right now. You got another J Dub, but not the J Dub we're talking about. What do you think that series is going to look like? Styles make fights, matchups mean everything, player for player, bar for bar. What's going to happen if this becomes our Western Conference Finals.
Listen, I will tell you this: the guards for San Antonio will have enough to give the guards for Oklahoma City some problems. Like Shea has been able to take advantage of a lot of mismatches. Defensively, he's not going to have a mismatch in this series between Steph Castle and Dylan Harper. Those guys can D up. San Antonio's got a lot of bodies that they can throw at, at the Thunder in terms of guys that have versatility, guys that have athleticism, guys that can defend multiple positions. I just think that San Antonio, from a matchup standpoint, presents a lot of problems for OKC, and there's a reason why the series was so one-sided in the regular season. 5 regular season matchups, including the in-season tournament. Oklahoma City only got 1 win. Now, I understand playoffs is different, but I just do think that there is a matchup problem for the Oklahoma City Thunder. And it starts with Victor Wembanyama, and they still haven't quite figured out how they're going to defend him. They've tried to use Alex Caruso in the past, going with something that's a little bit, different, something that's, viewed as an alternative style defensively. There are no good answers for stopping Wimby. There just aren't. And even with the double big lineup that Oklahoma City likes to play with Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren, they still can't find a way to stop Wemby. The gravity that Wemby has when he's on the court, being able to suck everybody in, keep creating opportunities for open shots on the perimeter. San Antonio's done a great job of late of being able to knock those shots down. Champagny, Devin Vassell, KJ, Dylan Harper, all of those guys. So I anticipate that being more of the same. Now, I'm never going to dismiss a champion. OKC has the blueprint in terms of how to get it done this time of year. So this is going to be a heavyweight fight as far as I'm concerned, and I can't wait to watch it.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit the pause. I love you, big bro, but we gotta hit the pause. That one went crazy. You said we'll rewind it, but it went crazy. I'm not gonna repeat it. I ain't gonna
Oh
repeat
my God.
it. But it's been a while since you heard this. I know you listened to it in Tokyo. You got a chance to watch it, but we know it's been 99 problems, but a take ain't never won, Canty.
Yeah.
And with the NFL schedule being released since you've been out, we have not only our resident NFL Super Bowl champion, but also our resident NFL analyst, ESPN Unsportsmanlike every day, from 6 to 10 on ESPN2 and ESPNU. Cheap plug, just putting that out there. So, KT, for you, this 99 problems, I want to ask you the most 3 anticipated games you're looking forward to this season now
Ooh.
that the schedule has been released. And then
Ooh.
just a little cherry on top for y'all Cowboy fans. The Cowboys actually have the most hardest schedule in the NFL based off the schedule release. So let's see how that goes. But for you, Kenty, what's the top 3 games that you're looking forward to this year?
All right. So Rams Chief, that's a game I'm excited about. Remember, they did some business this offseason, traded Trent McDuffie from Kansas City to LA for a first round pick. Chiefs moved up in the top 10 of the draft to draft his replacement, Mansour Delane, out of LSU. But it's Super Bowl or bust for both of those teams. Patrick Mahomes coming back off of the ACL, Matt Stafford coming off of an MVP campaign. I'm excited to watch it. I think that is the most exciting matchup for all of 2026. Number 2 would be Ravens Bengals. For the first time in the Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow era of the AFC North, both quarterbacks missed the playoffs. You got the head coach of the Bengals, Zach Taylor, on the hot seat.
Hmm.
John Harbaugh is gone after 2 decades. They brought in Jesse Minter. You got the looming Lamar Jackson contract extension and one of the most lopsided roster constructs in today's game, with the Bengals paying 2 wide receivers a total of $70 million a year. And then, oh, by the way, we're going to sprinkle in some Trey Hendrickson going from Cincinnati to Baltimore, and the Cincinnati Bengals trading a top 10 pick for Dexter Lawrence. So I'm excited to see that matchup. I think there are a lot of tentacles there. But here's the thing: elite quarterbacks don't stay out of the playoffs long, and I do think the AFC North this year will come down to these 2 teams.
Okay, okay. Uh,
The third
just
one? Do we need the third? Do we need a number 3?
yeah, we need a number 3, and I
But
want to
you want to
throw
hit
some.
number 2 first? Go ahead.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I want to throw one at you.
Okay.
You got 2 teams. You got the Baltimore Ravens. You got the Dallas Cowboys. We got them in Rio, baby. You're not looking forward to that game, seeing what that Baltimore Ravens defense is going to look like now with the new head coach, seeing how he brings over his scheme, his plays, how he likes to move, and then also we got Lamar. And I think this is going to be a Derrick Henry season, brother. I
Yeah,
think he owes everybody everything he fumbled. No
yeah.
pun intended.
Cowboys Ravens, the Canty Classic, that will be a good one. But I got another game that people should be tuned into if we're going to talk Dallas Cowboys. How about the Cowboys versus the Packers? The Micah Parsons game.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
The trade on the eve of the season last year undermined the Cowboys seasons. Parsons' injury in Denver undermined the Green Bay season. Neither team won a playoff game this past year. I would say this: all of the draft capital, picks and players going to Dallas for Michael Parsons. They paid Parsons quarterback money. I think this game in 2026 could ultimately serve as a referendum on the trade overall.
Mhm.
And I got to say, the build up to this game, whenever it is going to be insane because Jerry had things to say. Parsons clearly felt the way, had things to say. Parsons still makes his offseason home in Dallas. So that game's gonna go crazy. That like the Packers, I don't know how you could talk about anticipating a Cowboys game and not have Cowboys Packers at the forefront of that.
I mean, you seen Rio. I thought Rio was gonna be fun. It's
This
Rio,
guy, this
baby.
guy,
It's
this guy,
Rio.
this guy.
Can you give me one more, Canty, and then we'll go to wins and losses? Just
Yeah,
one more.
okay. So one more game that I'm excited about: Bills Bears.
Mm,
I think it's a matchup between the two most physically gifted quarterbacks in their respective conferences. Remember, DJ Moore got traded from the Bears to the Bills. You had a coaching change with the Bills, getting rid of Sean McDermott and hiring Joe Brady. It's Super Bowl or bust for them. Head coach Ben Johnson, he ain't never backed down from nobody, never been afraid to rub opponents' noses in it. Defense was the Achilles heel for the Bears last year. They've since upgraded that, fixed a lot of different spots. So I think this is going to be a crazy game. You're talking about a contrast in timelines because one team is Super Bowl window is closing, the other team their Super Bowl window is opening, and so I think that tension in there is what makes this game really really exciting.
yeah, I'm gonna tell you one game that I'm gonna try and make sure we go to though, Canty. September 10th. I've been asked to go to Australia for Old Croc, and I feel like we should go see the 49ers and the Rams.
listen,
I,
listen. I can appreciate what you're saying, but after getting off of a 14-hour flight from Japan, I got no interest in a 20-hour flight to Australia. You on your own, brother. You
well,
are
I'll
on your
bring you in
own.
spirit. I'll bring you
Yeah,
in
yeah,
spirit.
yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, we get to the favorite part of the show where everybody can chime in because we all have wins and losses. We all have victories and we all have our pitfalls during the week. But you know what? As long as you're living to see another day, you get another day to get a victory. But here, we got to be a little bit more pointed. We got wins and losses. Canty, what's your loss for this week?
Oh, my loss for this week has to be the Minnesota Timberwolves. I mean, Nas Reed taking that shot. They ended up winning the battle, but they lost the war because they pissed off Victor Wembanyama. And now the rest of the playoff field is going to have to pay for it. And I think we're talking about the Minnesota Timberwolves being done in short order because they poked the bear in Victor Wembanyama. So that will be my loss for the week, the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Oh man, I mean, I'll give you an easy loss and I'll make this quick. My loss for the week is Knicks fans. Now, you probably like, Q, they won. They just did a sweep. Why are you losing? I'm losing because reading is fundamental. Comprehension, y'all making me scared and making people think our New York education is a little jifty. I said one loss. They might get one loss. I put stats and facts behind it. I talked about what's been going on consistently and the inconsistency between the players. Cat being a straight hair, a little pussycat versus being a Panther. He's not always that. Who knew that Mike Brown was actually going to do some coaching? Because Thibodeau didn't all last year. So it's okay, brothers. I know that y'all think I'm a Knicks hater, but I think y'all need to stop, breathe, and not lose and overly hyping up what the Knicks will do because I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm Petty Braxton, Petty Pendergrass, who else? Petty Braxton, Petty Pendergrass, I'm Petty LaBelle, I'm Petty Knight in the Pips, I'm all of that. I will remember if they don't make the finals. And I will come on here. And there was something that Stephen A once said, Canty. He said, no matter what you say about me, my mic is bigger. Remember that, Knicks. My mic is bigger. We average 100,000 eyeballs a month. My mic is bigger. My mic is bigger. What's your win for the week, Canty?
Oh man, my win for the week is football fans because week one we got the Denver Broncos and the Kansas City Chiefs matching up, and the powers that be wouldn't schedule that game unless they thought Patrick Mahomes was going to be starting it. So Patrick Mahomes being back week one of the NFL season after a horrific knee injury cut his 2025 campaign short. I can't wait for it. I'm hoping all the best for Mahomes in his return back to play. Patrick Mahomes being back week one to start the NFL season. I think it's a win for Chiefs fans, but it's a win for all football fans.
Yeah, they thought we were bugged out when we talked about that a couple weeks ago that he could potentially come back. But I'm looking forward to it. I have a big overarching win, and I'm just gonna say my win for the week is a W. I think the WNBA coming back and just so much going on. I think Cheryl Swoops, and that team coming back. The Comets are back. The Suns are sold, and it's going to be officially back to the Houston Comets. You know how many championships they got?
Yeah.
Do you know how many championships? That team has so many star players on it, has so much of the foundation of WNBA. So I'm excited to see that. Not only
Tina
that,
Thompson, Swoops, and
Swoops,
Cynthia Cooper.
the GOAT.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
GOAT. She got
yeah.
Cynthia Cooper too. But also, we got to talk about one of the godmothers of the WNBA, Lisa Leslie, now knowing that she's being honored September 20th with a statue outside of the crypto arena.
Yeah.
She's not only a pioneer in the WNBA as a center, but also she played for 12 seasons, two-time WNBA MVP, two-time Defensive Player of the Year, two-time WNBA champion, three-time MVP, two-time player. I ain't gonna cheat you, sis. I ain't gonna cheat you. And she got 8 All NBAs, averaging more than 6,000 points in the WNBA. And I know right now, knowing that how these players are bowling, it looks like that might be easy to get nowadays. But her getting that achievement, being the second woman next to Sue Bird, I'm excited for her. I think she deserves it. And then lastly, about the W, let's talk about chances and opportunities. We got the rookies. We got Fly J. Johnson bowling out, showing that she came into the league, had purpose. I don't know what the Valkyrie were doing and why did they trade her and then drop the person they traded her for. I don't know. Bad business. Then we got Olivia Miles. You loved her in the NCAA tournament. She's going crazy right now in the W, averaging 17 points, 5 rebounds, 8 assists. She's doing what she needs to do. But then we talk about one more chance. Give me one more chance. We got my girl Kennedy Carter coming back from overseas, and she's doing some amazing work right now on the Aces, and she's showing that she deserves to be there. She got 27 points the other night with Aja getting 22, and then the night before that, she made sure she had 20 plus points. She's a baller. She don't stop. She can't stop. And then also shout out to Miss Jackson in Chicago. I thought that trade was going to have y'all looking stupid sending Aja the other way, but Chicago looked like they got a team. They got Sky Diggs doing what she's doing. They got Cardoza doing what she's doing. And I'm sorry, Miss Jackson, ooh, your game for real. We got Rakia Jackson balling out. So the W is my win for the week. I know I said a lot, but I've been so excited to see these women ball. And knowing that the NBA is about to end, I'm excited to get some more basketball in for the rest of the summer.
Absolutely. Let's go. And let's go Liberty Seafoam season. Let's go.
They lost last night, so I ain't want to throw that out there. You know, I ain't
Just
I
one
ain't want to
game.
throw that.
Just one game.
It's one game. It's one game. We'll see what's up. Canty, let them know where they can find you at.
You can find me at ChrisCanty99 on all social media platforms. You can also find me right here in my defense on the podcast, on our podcast channels. And you can find me on Sportsmanlike at ESPN Monday through Friday, ESPN2, ESPNU, and coming through your speakers on your radio. So check us out. Q, what about you?
You can find me at QE_Beeman1. And we thank you guys. We appreciate you guys. And I'm so happy my brother is back. We're going to keep it going. We got my guy CC. We always tell you guys it's never nothing personal. But in our defense,